was huge. That was Jen's favorite part of the whole session. She was like, just to have someone, a light bulb go off and say, oh my God, wait a minute. Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you might have to connect to your sound.
Come on, Chris, you're better than that.
Nice.
I can tell he can hear us because he's smiling and giggling.
Well, today's class is going to be on lip reading.
Yes. Surprise.
Don't do that when I just take a sip of my coffee, Dan. He splatters all over my screen.
Pay close attention, as there'll be no audio coming from Chris.
Oh, it looks like it's connecting now.
And then you gotta unmute.
Yeah, just unmute, and then you should be good. You can still have to unmute.
Muted.
There we go. How about now?
No, we have no sound.
Still can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Love when we have technical difficulties.
Well, at least it's not like yesterday he was frozen for a period of time. So this, I think, is easily fixed.
In the meantime, do we want to talk about what we have coming up the next week after that?
Do we know what's coming up next week?
Well, I do, kind of.
Kind of. That's a scary thought. It could be this or it could be this.
It could be a little of this, it could be a little of that. Yeah, see?
Still all good stuff.
Do we have a special guest lined up, or?
We do. And it's Louise. And I have it right here.
But we don't know what Louise is going to talk about.
No, I can't remember the program.
Well, we can go over some housekeeping. Please feel free to ask any questions. You can use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, or you can just raise your hand and ask your questions live.
Oh yeah, now I know.
For our NEXA loan officers. Yesterday was your session. Today is dedicated to our realtor partners. So please let them have the floor. And Jen, what is our topic next week?
I'm in the middle of all of the tax season. This is why we're kind of covering some of these, right? And so we are doing a P&L program only. So for self-employed borrowers, it's that time of year, just a P&L.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Wow.
Just a P&L. And money.
We have that program.
Yeah, I think we hear Chris.
Hey, Chris!
Hey, there's Chris.
Chris is going to do foreign nationals for us today. And now that we can hear him, yay! Realtors Unplugged Wednesday, October 22nd. Sure. It's February 22nd, and we are in 2023. So we have Chris here for Foreign Nationals today, and he's going to go ahead and get started and kind of just give us an idea of what that program is, how we can use it, some guidelines on maybe who we should go hunting for in our database and in our prospects to use it. After our conversation, like I said earlier, if you were just joining us, the class that we had with the LOs yesterday was really quite something, because we had a couple of LOs that just were set on fire by that. They had some newer ideas on connecting with those people and these clients, and it was really awesome to just kind of see it light up and go, I didn't see the light bulb click. Because I don't think this gets utilized as much as it probably could. And I think there's all kinds of reasons for somebody from somewhere else to buy a second home or an investment property here. and not necessarily in bulk, right? Like, I know we all like to say, oh, where people come over and they buy all our property. Well, the fact of the matter is that they send their kids to school here and colleges. There's medical professionals that come here for conventions. There's a million different ways that this can apply. That's personal to people that, are just families that are, friends of ours over and abroad. So, Chris, do you want to take over?
Yeah, by all means. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen, and thanks for everyone for attending the call. Foreign national program is, and the sky's the limit with it. There are, a lot of money out there in the foreign national market and a lot of deals potentially to be had. Just a matter of becoming familiar with it and comfortable, and hopefully we'll do that today. First off, we'll start with the definition of what a foreign national is. Foreign national is someone that lives and works outside the United States. They might be here just temporarily visiting. They could be here visiting family. They could be here on medical conventions. The reasons go on and on. Big thing is, how do you tap into that and convert them into sales for you? So there's a few different ways that you can give them financing options. One is a full doc option. The other is asset-based. And then there's a debt service ratio loan, DSCR, where you qualify the borrowers off the income the property produces. So there's a wide array of, options that where you do document income. Maybe you have people that are high wealth or, have retired and, have money saved and want to utilize their funds that way, but they don't have a monthly income per se. And there's other people that maybe just want to, invest in the market here and, want to utilize the rent versus their personal income that, may or may not support it depending on their income bracket or, but have the assets to do it. So you can do a second home for a foreign national if you go full doc or with asset-based, an asset-based program, and you can do up to 75% loan to value for those folks. If they're looking to purchase investment properties, then you can do that as well with the debt service ratio program, and that would go to 70% loan to value. And reserves and things of that nature can stay in their home country, so it's ease of use for the program and for the client. You can do purchase, refinance, or delayed financing options, which, obviously everyone understands the value of a purchase, but for some of you realtors on the call that may have helped someone buy a property cash recently or within the last 6 months, you can actually help them recoup some of their funds and purchase another property that they might not have been able to know. Probably didn't know, because if you help them buy a property cash, you might have known about these options. But that's a way to, again, get you more sales from people that already know you and, again, increase your sales. So you may also want to look at, homes that have sold within the last 6 months, for all cash purposes or all cash buyers, to see if you might be able to market to those clients as well, to see if you might be able to say, hey, listen, I saw you just purchased cash. If you're interested in investing and you want to utilize the same funds that you already put down in this property, let's do a delayed financing and look to get you some more, another property in the area. Obviously they're in the market to purchase investment properties, so you have a hot lead right there. You can do, 30-year ARM programs, interest only, to help maximize the cash flow, make it as easy as possible for the clients. Property types are going to be single-family homes, condos, 2 to 4 unit, and condo-tels. Condo-tels, if you're in the right market, can be a great option because there's no maintenance. You're in a resort area, and it's easy to rent should they not be here. So, they get the benefits of having a second home and vacation property, and then, hopefully getting to pay for it and then some with the renters when they aren't here. So just something to think about if you're in the right market for those type of, for condo-tels. Now, where you would find foreign national clients, there's a couple different, several different options, but One, if you're looking for those people that can travel, you want people that have the ability to go, on vacation, and you're not looking for the person that has a once in a lifetime trip. They probably don't have the ability to purchase a home or an interest of purchasing and staying in the U.S. It might just be a visit, but for those people who are maybe retired, higher wealth, you look to communities that have a large resort or destination community. For example, like Scottsdale, Arizona, we have a massive Canadian population that comes in the winter. A lot of them rent. If you can look up where they're staying in Airbnbs or look at realtors who focus on the rental market, these are folks that might be primed to purchase a second home in the area. Las Vegas, another place where they get a lot of international tourists and a lot of people that have high wealth that could have the ability to purchase a second home or investment property. If you look at the condo hotels there, for example, too, it's a great way to get in with some realtors and tap into that market. Miami, Orlando, also, places where a lot of foreigners, a lot of foreign travel, a lot of money that is there, and a lot of things to do. So, those are prime markets to tap into for that type of, vacationing foreign national traveler who, wants to go somewhere and again, enjoy their second home.
Yeah, and probably
another
DC too, right?
DC, yeah. So DC would be more of a diplomatic, but DC would be, and I was going to touch upon that. Also, cities that have, a need for skilled labor or, have facilities there where you're getting, like San Jose, San Francisco, where you get the tech workers that, come over here, months at a time. They might be high-level executives or vice presidents, and, instead of living out of a hotel for 2-3 months while they're here, they can then purchase a second home or investment property, stay in it when they, for the brief periods that they want, and then rent it out and make money off it, when not. Seattle, DC, Texas, with, the energy industry and whatnot. So, those are the things to think of where, where's the money, for foreign money coming into job opportunities. That might be a little different than your, vacationing, foreign national, someone who's retired and trying to get somewhere where, where they're getting the, nature experience versus, they want to be in a city or they need to be near their work or business. So there's that. Also from our call yesterday with doctors, people who, medical professionals, people who come, here for conferences, they're a great, clientele to market to. They have a need to be here, and they more than likely have the money to be here. Also, they have the ability to get the visa to travel here. Some countries, you have to have a certain wealth requirement to even get a visa to come. So, those are also people that, you would, would be.
Yeah, and on that note, sorry, but let's talk about that for a second. Not every foreign national is probably eligible for this, right? Unfortunately, there's probably some caveats to that.
Yeah, so there's a list from the OFAC that countries that are excluded from the foreign national program, they have sanctions of the government. So yeah, not everyone is ideal for that program, but the people who do get here, essentially would be. If you're looking at again, vacation areas, places that have employment opportunities and whatnot, oftentimes their employers will support their visa to get them here.
Right.
And so yeah, great point.
And now, do you have any kind of listing of those countries that are not eligible that maybe we can share with our realtor partners?
Yep. There's going to be we have a link to the government website from the OFAC, which should tell you all the countries that have restrictions on doing business with the U.S. And we sure do. So
Perfect.
Our loan officers,
yeah.
And our loan officers received that yesterday as well. So, and that would probably be the best resource for screening that. more than likely, is to probably check with your NEXA loan officer on that one. The government list is there as well. So, but generally speaking, I mean, probably, you know, first, you know, your first glances is definitely, you know, if we're not doing business with them right now as a country, then odds are we're not doing business with them as a client, unfortunately.
And typically those wouldn't be approved to come unless they were, you know, government officials or U.S. something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sean had a question that was asking about the credit score requirements.
Yeah, so this is great. The program, they can have U.S. credit or they can have no U.S. credit and we qualify them off foreign credit. So there's two options. You can even have a mix of the two. Maybe they have limited U.S. credit, but they have, you know, established credit history in their home country. Well, we can mix the two, and it'll still allow them to qualify. With the full doc options, there's no LTV restrictions for foreign credit, so they can keep their assets in their home country, which, you know, again is big. And you know, once they have, they only need to have the funds here for closing and down payment, closing costs, for 10 days prior. So they can get their affairs in order in their home country, transfer it directly to either the title company, or if they have a checking or savings account or checking account set up here in the US, then they can do that as well.
And now what if they don't have a FICO score? I know some countries don't have a FICO period.
Yeah, so we're not even going to look, if we pull a foreign, or you send us a foreign credit report, we're not going to look at their score, don't care what it is, we're just looking at the trade lines based on that foreign credit report.
Gotcha.
And, you know, if it's not a foreign credit report available for them, you can get credit reference letters, you know, and that you'll send to the financial institution. They'll, you know, fill out all their information, the borrower's account information, pay history. We have them fill out their who completed the form, and that's as good as a trade line. So we could, you know, again, do that as well. We want to make it as easy as possible to these borrowers, because oftentimes they're very well qualified. You know, they have money. You know, 25% is the minimum down. Not a lot of people are looking to throw away a 25% down payment on property. So yeah, they're great borrowers, very solid.
And there was another question in here, like, how do the rates compare to a regular conventional loan?
You know, they're anywhere from 1.5, you know, to 2 points higher, just depending on the program. And, you know, so there is a little bit of a higher risk there, but, you know, again, a little higher interest payment, I'm sure is, you know, much better than putting, you know, an additional couple $100,000 down to buy a property cash. So, you know, they can use that money to invest in other things or leave in their investments. So, you know, we find a lot of times people are focused on the cash flow of these properties. Payment is the biggest thing. So that's why we offer the interest-only options to maximize the cash flow for them, give them the lowest payment possible, and yeah, qualify for more home. We'll let them qualify off the interest-only payment. So that also can help boost their buying power.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Want to take
Other
that
concessions are. Oh, sorry.
No, there's another question here from Sean asking, what if a foreign national owns multiple properties already in the U.S. with no debt and wants to pull some equity out to buy more? This would be like a cash out portfolio loan for a foreign national. Is that allowed?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We do refinance transactions, rate term or cash out. They can go up to 65% of the loan to value, get their cash out. It's to be used for business purposes, either fixing up the home, you know, buying more properties. But yep, there's no limit on the number of properties. We have a max exposure of $5 million to one borrower. So, and with landlord experience, that can be actually make exceptions for that. So if you have an experienced investor, you know, that's not a rock hard ceiling of $5 million, but Yeah, for the right people, yeah, you can definitely do more than that. But that's a good start, 5 million.
Hey, as a reminder, today's session is for realtors and not NEXA LOs. Sean Greco. Sorry, but it was announced earlier that NEXA LOs should have attended yesterday and asked all your important questions. And not that they're not important today, but you had an ample opportunity. And we like to open this up for the realtors to ask their questions.
Absolutely. So let's see here.
Questions could always come directly to off the call. So
Sean also is a realtor, so my apologies, Sean. Go ahead.
And let's see, Ethel, yes, this is recorded, and you can find that recording on Facebook, either the NEXA Mortgage site or the I Provide Referrals site. But we'll put those links in the chat a little later.
We're already at 10:21, so.
My goodness, that went by fast.
I know. Chris, so in regards to as far as, how long it takes for these maybe to close, do they close, for an agent who's trying to, put these offers in and kind of do this, are these 30-day close? Are they 15-day closes? And can we be real about it? Is it I know we all like to say we can do it in 10 days. However, this is, does have some, you've got asset statements in foreign languages, and you've got a few little things that, need to be, worked through, especially if they don't have credit and we're working with, as the LO, working with the client to make sure we get our credit references and all of that. The agents aren't going to be doing that. We, as our NEXA loan officers, are familiar with that process, and we'll do that, obviously for the clients. But in the meantime, when we're trying to, work as an agent and figure out how long it's going to take to, get somebody ready to shop and then be ready to close, what are we kind of looking at?
Yeah, so it's a great question. That's, if we're dealing with a country, a English-speaking country, maybe Canada, England, where you're not dealing with the translation aspect of it, then it could be, a 30 to 45-day close. And again, I would just say to err on the side of caution with that. It depends how quickly the people can get their money out of their home country. Some countries are easier than others to get funds from. So I would safely say, that 45 days, 30 days, very possible. Less than 30, it just depends on how quickly we get the information back. As loan officers know, you can only, process a loan as fast as the information is given to you. So to safely say, I would say 30 to 45 days. But again, if everyone is on the hustle and every one of the moving parts, does their part, could you? You could. Would I say that's a common thing? Probably not. But again, thankfully in this market, where we don't have bidding wars anymore, and we're not push to close. So that helps. And again, if it's one of your first loans, first deals, then I would err on the side of caution, because we can always move up the closing date, if need be.
And Cheryl was asking, do you come across a lot of challenges taking money from another country and bringing it to the U.S.?
So I probably get the most inquiries of people from China trying to purchase here in the U.S., and I've seen less than a handful of those loans close solely because it's very hard to get money out of China. It's just not an easy process to do. I'm not an expert at it, but I know there's a lot of Chinese buyers looking to purchase in California, but again, having them get the money out of China can be a process. So, but most countries who are on a visa waiver program, which is mostly EU, Canada, it's not as difficult. So it just depends on the country, And again, that's also for any realtor here. That's something that you can go to your NEXA LO and, they can find out, from the different investors, what the path of least resistance is, to make sure that you're on the right path.
I was just going to suggest that. I know a lot of questions from the realtors, they're good questions, but if you get with your NEXA loan officer, again, we did this for the NEXA loan officers yesterday. They should have all the answers. If they don't, they can log into LO support, come see. Jen and I run LO support. We have 30 coaches in there that have answers, hopefully some good solutions, that we're there ready to help you guys answer questions as well. So don't feel like, this is the only source of information, what you're getting today.
Yeah.
Is bring it, tell your next LO, hey, I need some answers to these questions. And if they say, I don't know, say, hey, Dan said to come into LO support.
Yeah, right. And that's with that. And then, along with the marketing too. And I think that if this is a niche area that if you're interested as an agent, that I would get with your NEXA LO that invited you today, go over to the marketing department. We have the assets to be able to put those together for you and help you market them and the way that you want them to be marketed, and really partner with that NEXA LO to create a client experience for that you guys both have a good experience with, and the client as well, obviously, because that's always the end goal. But I think that, sometimes programs have a little bit of things that are a little bit of extra work, maybe on the front end before we go put them in the car to go shop. But they aren't things that necessarily, like when we're talking about our trade lines and things like that today, those are things that your NEXA LO is going to be responsible for working on. That's one of those things that, in planning that, it might be, the case that you spend a little more time for the pre-qual. It might not be a 48-hour, here you go, here's your letter, let's go get in the car kind of thing. It might be a week, and then you're good to go. On the bright side of that, though, once you have those things in place, then for the most part, as long as they have the money in the trade lines and they're eligible to go for it.
Just the fact that the possibility is out there.
I think it's a very lucrative area of business that really doesn't get a whole lot of, you're talking about borrowers that are pretty well asseted, and high level professionals. And so I think really in all honesty, it's probably a nice little gold mine that doesn't get touched very often because of the fear of the trade lines or the asset statements from the different countries. And oh my gosh, what is that? It just sounds like a lot of
extra.
To me, it's more of an issue of, as a loan officer and and work in operations too, is that it kind of becomes one of those things where you want to make sure that you kind of have a little work system in place for these, and that they don't get rushed on the front end.
Your NEXA loan officer can help you with that.
Yeah, and a 30 to 45 day, time span for closing. It's going to be an on or before situation, right? Like, if it gets done a little faster, great. If it doesn't, then, you know that you've got that mark. But it's more so not really an issue of qualification. It's more so an issue of just the logistics of, getting things translated or doing what needs to be done on that end. Those aren't signs of anything bad. They're just new and different, right? But new and different can equal an awful lot of money in transactions. So
it worked out well for Columbus.
Right.
All right. So it is 10:29. We will make sure that if your LO invited you here today, they have access to the information on this program and the OFAC list and all of that. So I would direct you guys right back to them. And again, like Dan said, come see us, and mortgage support is there now as well. So if, go see Karen too. at this point. Register for mortgage support for your agents, and then the BDM team's there to help answer questions and work through and find. If you're an agent who just happened to come across this and you attend and you don't have anybody that's invited you, which is very sad. And says something to me about our marketing skills, but come find us and we'll help you find a loan officer at NEXA that will make sure to get you taken care of.
Excellent.
All right.
Chris, thank you again for your time. We know time is valuable, so we appreciate you coming in and sharing with the group.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
And for everybody else, we'll see you next week. It's same bat time on the same bat channel.
It wouldn't be the same without that ending. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.